Hello and welcome to Fusion Fundamentals with me, MJ. Today we're going to be designing and 3D printing a guitar hanger so I can hang some more guitars on my wall. I don't have to buy any more brackets. So we're going to get into that. But first, check out the link in the description below. There's a 50% discount for a Udemy course I created and uploaded. Usual price is around $50, but you'll get half price, and often there's specials on top of that. So it could be on special plus 50% off. There's a lot of videos, a lot of content that's not on my YouTube channel, from beginner to intermediate, lots of examples. So go check it out. Let's get into the video. We're going to start this one off with creating a sketch on the right plane. Now these dimensions I've kind of figured out beforehand to make sure that it all works when I make the video. So let's go through it step by step. I'm going to select the line tool, so L for line. I'll start at the origin so we've got something to click onto. We've got this is 75 millimeters. Another line of 70 millimeters. That's running perpendicular there. L just down to that same point of the origin and then connect them there. I'm going to press D, which is this one, dimension, and I'll dimension this to 20 millimeters. So you see now everything will be fully constrained. Okay. Now what we need to do is do an extrude on this. So let's get to our home view, and I'm going to select extrude. It's already selected our side for us, or our profile, and I'm going to change this to symmetric. I want the total distance to be 90 millimeters, so I will set that to 45. So as you can see, that doesn't really look like much yet. We're going to do a few little cutouts on it, and then we'll add in some fillets and some finishing details. So we're going to do a new sketch now on the side of the block over there. So that's our new plane we're working on, and I'm going to select arc, 3-point arc. So with 3-point arc I can select a point, select another point, and then put my arc distance. So there it is. I want to dimension this a bit though, so I'm going to I'll select this point and make that 14.5 millimeters. Our radius is 19, and then it's not fully constrained. If I grab this, we can see we can move it around like that. So I don't want to be able to do that. Control Z, get it in the right position. So I'm just going to set the distance between these two at 35 millimeters. So now I can see there that that's fully constrained. We've got that little cutout, finish sketch. Now what we do is we select extrude and just drag it right through. It doesn't have to be right on the edge, you can drag it way past, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now we've got something that's got a little groove in it. That's still not going to hold the guitar. So we've got one more sketch to do before we can start adding the fillets and text elements to it. We're going to do that on this top plane over here. So I'll create a sketch and I'll select this top plane. And I'm going to do a rectangle. So R, just kind of randomly. This line at the back is 90. And I want this to be 50. So D, make that 50. To make sure that's centered, that point to that point will have to be 20. So now that line is centered over there. And I want to get this distance to 25. So that's going to give me a cutaway to hang the guitar in, and also leave enough space to bolt it onto the wall. So we finish sketch. Now I'll drag this profile right through. Now if we look at our sketch or our design, that's starting to look a bit like a guitar hanger. I'm going to make some mounting holes, and then we'll add some more elements to make it look a little bit nicer. I'm going to create an offset plane from our back plane. Just going to pull it forward. We can make it exactly on that point if we want, 70 millimeters. Okay. Then we'll create a sketch on that plane. So I've got some wall anchors. They've got like a little 6mm sleeve around the screw, and the head of that is about 10 mils. I want that to be countersunk in there. So I'm going to push C for circle, and I'll make a 10mm hole and then a 6mm hole. So our 6mm hole is going to go all the way through, and the 10mm hole will allow the head of the screw to be countersunk. So I'm not too worried about getting this perfectly centered. I'll just kind of eyeball that. And then we're going to mirror it. So L for line tool. You can change it into construction line by pressing X or selecting there, but it's not necessary. You can just have a plain line. So this is going to be our mirror plane. I'll select the mirror tool, then we'll select our two objects. Select the mirror plane. There, we've got it on that side. Last one, we're going to just take off construction line type. I just pressed C there for my quick access to the center diameter circle. Lift that up a little bit. Another one, C, and 6 millimeters. Finish sketch. So now we've got these random holes a little bit away from our drawing. Let's extrude them. So the inner hole, the 6 millimeter hole, is going to go right through. So it's going to get our wall anchors into the wall. I think I'm going to shift this little one up a bit once we've done our countersink, just to see how that looks. Turn our sketch back on. Now we'll select these and we'll just drag it up. I think that would mean we've got about 20 millimeters of plastic behind it. I think that's sufficient. So use a 40mm anchor or 60mm anchor, and you got more than enough in the wall, and you got some material on your bracket so that it doesn't have any weak points. Okay, so now our anchor will go straight through there, and we'll have that countersunk. I did say I wanted to adjust this. I'm just going to grab this point, move it up a bit, then it'll adjust our hole for us. Just didn't want it to go past that edge there. So that's looking pretty good. Now we're going to add some fillets. So I love the fillet tool. You just grab a corner or an edge, and you hit your dimension, and you get this completely new shape. So that's going to be a 10 millimeter fillet. So I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to put some 5 millimeter fillets over here. I just pushed F for the fillet key. I don't want this whole face. I want to get these 5 millimeters. I think that's good. I'm wondering if I should maybe do these beforehand. So let's cancel that one, and I'll do this edge. Now let's add these in. See, if you've got a whole bunch of fillets in one operation, it kind of makes it a bit smoother. So you're doing them together. You can see how it's rounded that corner nicely for us. I'll add that in. So that's the outside. And let's get these inside lines in. Now I'll select these. To toggle between this view and this view, all I've done is press the Control key or Command key. So that's got a nice sort of homogeneous shape. That's looking pretty good. So I'll press OK. I'm happy with that. Last little bit we're going to do is create a sketch on this surface over here. And we'll select our text tool. I'll just draw a little text box. Make sure I'm not snapping to any edges, because then you can't resize it. And put it in there. Now I've got a small company that does some 3D printing, and my company is called Vertex 3D, so I'm going to put that in there. I'll hit center over there, and I think 10 millimeters is fine. We could go through all these different fonts, but I don't feel like doing that. I'll just make this bold. Okay, now that looks pretty good. Now what we're going to do is finish sketch and go to extrude. So you can see it's kind of covered up, so it's kind of in there at some points. If I drag this out, nope, a wrong profile. Let's get the text, drag it out. You can see it's actually doing cut operation in that direction, just for a tiny bit. So I'll just go 2 sides, and the second side will be 2 millimeters. So it'll sink that in by 2 millimeters. And that's our bracket. Now I'm going to send it off the printer, print it out, and then we'll have a look at what we get. So that's what we ended up with. Nice, easy little thing. I'm going to mount it on the wall and see if we can hold the guitar up with it. And there we go. You can see in the background my electric guitar is hanging up there nicely. I did realize afterwards that I needed to make a bit of a spacer to fit an acoustic guitar to accommodate the larger body, but it works fine for my electric. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please do like and subscribe, leave a comment down in the comment section, and check out some of my other videos. Also, don't forget about that 50% discount coupon. Till next time, bye.